Hi everyone, it's Killshot for 99 Gaming. This is The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon episode number 3, and we got a lot to analyze for you guys tonight before we get into tonight's recap and reactions. Got a super chat shout out for Amy Bones Ferrero. Let's get deep into some Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. You better believe it, 999 Army. So I want to thank you guys for staying up a little bit later tonight, and this is kind of like our core group. I can see Corey in the house. Good to see you again. Of course, our moderators in the house. C Kayak, Dr. Dye, uh, Deadly Dimes, Harold Evans, always here. A pleasure. We got Cassandra. Thank you for being back, Cassandra. So, a lot of our Walking Dead fans and fellow discussioners, it, we're kind of rekindling that old fire again. So it's good to see you guys and get your thoughts in chat. So kind of the way this works is we'll go through. I see Crimson Tide in the house. Good to see you as well, Crimson. Football Master. Keep them coming in. Keep them coming in. We we go through and we kind of analyze and score tonight's episode, and then we'll pick certain highlights of things that we liked and maybe some things that were some opportunity. And as we talk through it, we kind of uncover things as we go. B-Dub in the house, good to see you. Thank you for all you guys staying up late with us tonight. So first thing that I'm going to do with episode number 3 is I want you guys to think overview. Not when we funnel it down and go into different segments, but overview. If someone just walked up off the street and said, hey, what did you think of tonight's episode? Deborah Cox is there. If you had to score it from a 1 to a 10, what would you score it? So that's kind of what I want to see you guys do right now. I've got my own score set up, and I'll go through and I'll kind of justify my score as well. But see a 9.3, 8.5, 7.5. Fluff Salisbury in the house, giving it an 8, solid 8. C Kayak with an 8. Julie 8.7, Cassandra 9, Diana 8.5, Bones 8.5, Crimson Tide 8. Jesus says 8 because I'm lost. That's fine. That's fine. B-Dub with 8.4. Deadly Dimes 8.9. Deborah Cox with a 9. You know what? Great minds must think alike because I gave it an 8.4. And I know some of you are going to be like, what? I thought it was a 9. I thought it was a little bit better. And that's okay. By the end of tonight's stream, I might raise my score a little bit. But at first glance, I gave it 8.4. And I'll go through kind of my validation as we walk through. So let me start out with the creepy conductor. Okay. Tonight's episode to me was about, it was more about artistic element and less about the deep storyline, I thought, because I thought they circled back and did some things that maybe confused the audience a little bit more than anything else. Now, and I'll get to that in a little bit because, we know walkers don't age, but there were some things that sort of threw me off a little bit. That's why I gave it a little bit lower. I liked it. I was entertained by it. Look, let me say this. If it's above a 7.5, I'm probably going to be entertained by it. If it's in the 9.5, I'm like, wow, this is good Walking Dead stuff. Now, I do have to say that my night was completely thrown off when I saw Fear the Walking Dead commercial and I saw Troy. I'm like, what? what is going on? Troy got beaten to death with a hammer. It was enough that Madison came back. Now, Troy? Are you kidding me? So that threw me off a little bit. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I was like back and I'm watching. I'm like, no, no. Why do we have to keep bringing these people back? Next thing you know, we're going to bring Nick back. Let's just bring Nick back. Why not? Here's what I want to say. And I'll get to this in a second. And I'm going to get a big hell yeah from all of our viewers. If there's one person that you want to bring back to Fear the Walking Dead, can we please, for the love of God, get John Dory back? Let's get John Dory and forget everybody else. That's the person that they should bring back. Not Troy. not Madison. John Dory. That's who we want, right? I mean, how hard is this to give the people what they want? All right, back to Daryl Dixon. See, I know how to get the crowd riled up. Or let Simon show up on Fear the Walking Dead. You know what? If we really, really want to get the Walking Dead universe going, let's have John Dory show up and Simon just magically appear. And then we'll just forget everything else. We don't have to make it work. Okay. All right, so back to the creepy conductor thing. It was artistic filler. So, the only purpose of that was to show that there are weird people out there that like to make music and have a bunch of walkers animated doing that. And Daryl was like, hey, told you she should have went to Paris. Like that. Like Daryl's just, let's get out of here. And I agree. So it was just kind of like a sidetrack. I could have, just assumed they went to a coffee shop. Personally, I didn't need it, but it was very cool. I think they just got together and said, let's just do something cool. All right, so then we come out, we figure out that Sylvie doesn't know how to shoot people. And then the next thing you know, something I did like was, and again, it was cool, but I didn't need it. But to play When You're Strange in French, and then to remind you that Jim Morrison died in Paris, okay, that's cool. You kind of, it's a neat little Easter egg, but I didn't need it. So neither one of those things, I thought, helped me get into the story tonight, even though it was kind of cool. So I didn't add a whole lot to it. But then when we finally got to Paris, now I don't know. Look, I don't know what the trip was. I guess they just went straight through Orleans and then they're there. But then you're in Paris. So I'm going to give you guys my honest answer, okay? I think that initially there was going to be a journey to get to Paris. And then I think because they only had like the one distraction along the way, that they needed something else and they just kind of threw that cool scene in there. And the next thing you know, you're in Paris. It almost felt like Daryl Dixon was going to be, or the show itself, because we're only on episode 3. It almost felt like it was going to be like the Robin Hood or early Game of Thrones, and then now you're at the main spot where all the action is going to take place. I guess it's just because I was expecting a little bit more travel time, and we didn't get it. Neither good nor bad, but different. All right, so we meet up with Falou, and we find out that Falou has homing pigeons. And one thing that they did is they demonstrated once again that Laurent is I don't have a word for Laurent. Possible prophet, not sure. We're confused by that. But we found out that Sonia just lost her husband, and Laurent turned around and he saw she was mourning, and he just went up, and next thing you know, he's getting her back to normal. So I think they're setting this up for at some point, Daryl believing in something bigger than what he's experienced. So this to me does seem like the Daryl reawakening, or he's witnessing this stuff live. Now, why is Daryl here? Why is there an American here? Why did he just end up at that spot? So Fluff says kind of feels like The Last of Us. I would agree from the video game standpoint, because I didn't watch the TV series. But we go from, in one episode, we go from the creepy conductor to Falu's area to Izzy's house to Quinn's establishment. And if you wanted to see like a show and artistic creativity, that's what tonight was really about. It wasn't about, to me, as much the deep storyline or the Janae Codron partnership, because that happened at the very end. The action was really at the very end. And I agree. See, Amy, and I think that, let me kind of ask this question. To those of you that scored below an 8.5, did you feel like tonight's episode was too much entertainment and less about action and maybe a little bit more of what we wanted? Because there were so many elements to tonight's show. We got to see the experiments with the walkers yet again. 18 seconds. So I'm going to pause right there, and I'm going to ask all of you this question. What is it about the 18 seconds? Are they trying to tame the walkers? Or did it take him 18 seconds to build his strength to break those chains? Are they trying to sedate the walkers to make the world easier? Or are they trying to get this rage built up quicker than 18 seconds? So see, it kind of left you a little bit in the dark. Are they searching for a cure, or are they weaponizing? So I did like that. Maybe I wanted more of that. I had questions. I'm not sure. If you guys could answer this question, maybe more power to you. What is the shelf life of Coke? Because I got to imagine that's been there for 14, 15 years. Is that a valid timetable? I'm so confused by the timetable. Because I don't know, it's 14 or 15 years. When you store it in your fireplace, but I'm going to tell you, that guy wanted it. he wanted it. Because he was like, he wanted to put his hands in the cookie jar. Like, pay me first. Nah, stop. Got to pay me before I get you a boat. So, but I like that they were showing what the nightclub mentality. Jesus, we got weed experts. Well, Tim, when you open that Pepsi, if you do, you might be surprised that it's not good any longer. Maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know what the shelf life is. But I see where you're going with that. All right, so and please don't don't read into this because I'm not trying to make this sexist or political or anything along those lines. But it is an underlying theme lately that we have a lot of men who look strong, but then all of a sudden get weak and then report to strong women. Have you guys noticed how that's just kind of the Walking Dead theme lately? It happened on Fear the Walking Dead. It happened twice that I know of on The Walking Dead. And I'm cool, girl, girl power. But it is it's a reoccurring theme. I got no problem. So here's what I want to kind of I got no problem with the powerful women. Why don't we just make them powerful from the start? Why do we got to hide the men and make the men look like Codron's this real tough badass? He is the top of the line. He's going to beat everybody. And then it's like, hi, Janae. Yeah, would you mind helping me out a little bit? I'm kind of, I need a little help, please, pretty please. And then after she's like, you're hired, he's like, yes, I'm Codron again, right? And we did the same thing with the Croat. Negan was like, that guy wants to kill me. Croat, yeah, he does things the way I used to do it. He's going to torture me. And then you see Croat just sitting there, and it's like, Adama? It's like, I mean, he just whoop, chopped off, and then all of a sudden, he's a Croat again. So we've seen this. We've seen this kind of develop. And again, I got no problem with Madame Janae being in charge, but I just don't know that I want to do this roller coaster with Codron along the way. I mean, Codron could still be a badass. So to me, that was a little bit of recycling the narrative, is my point. We'll see. What you guys think about the singing? Dimamonde, I guess, was that her name? Dimamond, again, artistic element. So in this episode, we had a conductor, we had some stolen art, we had a nightclub singer. Episode, possibly. Show all the cool stuff they can do. Because don't get me wrong, it is cool. But that's why I thought it's more cool when you just do a little bit. Like, so I didn't maybe this is it. Maybe I didn't dislike the creepy conductor, but when I saw the other stuff too, it made me think, okay, it's a little too much. It's more like after the fact thinking. All right. Couple comments here. Homing device, track him down. Fluff, I'm not going to put it past them. Or maybe not a homing device, because that's a little technical. But I will say this, I think that she's going to know where to find him because of what he said and their interaction. So I don't think it really has to be. I think it's like, I got a special, nobody can find him. I know where he is because he was talking about the Eiffel Tower and I gave him the necklace, so she's going to know where to go get him. She wanted that champagne bad, though, didn't she? You could see it. You could see it in her eyes. All right. I'm going to give you my I bet I found it, but I'm not sure if you did. Moment from tonight. If you guys want to hear it, give me a 999. Somebody broke character tonight, and I'm going to tell you exactly when it happened. And when I say it, if you don't remember it, I want you to go back and watch it. All right, so check this out. And if you didn't notice it at the time he did it, if you go back and watch this 30-second scene, when Daryl was talking to Izzy, and he was talking about Laurent, and he said, well, maybe. He did it in Negan's voice. Daryl used like a Negan mannerism. He said, well, maybe he's a regular kid. Go back and listen to that. I'm telling you, I looked away for a second, and when I heard it, I turned back around, and I was like, he sounded just like Negan when he said that. It was very condescending. It was very off the cuff, and he even did almost the same voice as Negan. It's real minute. And again, I don't know if he intentionally broke character or if he's just showing that Daryl does have some Negan mannerisms in his own show. And I'm not saying they're making him into Negan, but I'm just saying that he does have I can see some similarities between new Negan and new Daryl. Now, Daryl's probably a little bit more, well, I don't know, because, Negan's a dad now. So Negan has sort of toned it down. And, it was more than twice. Busy, I would bet he said it at least 4 times tonight. So not only does he have the mannerisms, drop the F-bomb, I'm going to say 4. It's just happening so much, it's like I can't even get used to it. But I like it. I like it. It's showing Daryl's developing his character. All right, so here's something else that did lower my score a little bit. What did you guys, give me your opinions. What did you guys think about the chase scene with Codron at the end? Seen it before, right? I mean, why have guns if you can't ever hit anybody? I get it. We need a shootout. We got to have a shootout at the end because we've been showing you so much art. Let's see. We got the creepy conductor. We got a stage singer. We got the nightclub vibe. We got Quinn with a nice office. You know what, guys? Tie this thing up. We gotta have a shootout. I think they went to the Rick Grimes School of Shooting because they weren't even close. More art to come. All right, so 2 things that I thought were pretty obvious. Okay. Number 1, how has that little girl been chained up for 15 years? We're talking about Paris, one of the busiest, most populated cities in the world. And she still, not one person So here's my question for all of y'all. Did that scene move you? Did it move you, or was it, yeah, about that? I mean, be honest. I'm not trying to convince you one way or another. Was it a moving scene? Was it like, oh, my heart fluttered, poor girl? Or was it like, come on now? So, then it had some intended effect, which is okay. If it did, then it's effective. If it didn't, then it's not effective. So we had some people said, yeah, I kind of felt a little bit, made me reflect. I kind of felt for him. I get it. I just thought that Izzy's house has not been looted. These walkers have not been killed. It's certainly, and Fluff, maybe you're right. Maybe they just have done different things. They didn't kill as many of them. They experimented with them. Like the acid walkers, the enraged walkers. These jokers are like self-healing. They are falling and getting up and moving faster. Now, I will say this. Whatever they're doing is advanced. And we better start looking out. Because this might be where we're going. But if Laurent doesn't have a gun that shoots faster, he's not like putting up his hand and they're dropping dead. So I'm kind of, if Laurent is a miracle, we need to see him start performing some miracles. Because some people around him have already died. So I don't know. I don't know which direction we're going to go with this point. I don't know if it's going to be Laurent really does have some mystical abilities that we don't know, or Laurent is a person that can restore faith and maybe he doesn't have to. I'm okay either way, I guess. I'm just more curious to see that. All right, one more question for you guys, and we'll score it again. Because, I got 4 pages worth of notes, but a lot of it is regarding the art and the entertainment. I think both of these are good. B-Dub says he's a miracle baby like Judith, and Corey says he's a fraud, giving in to all the hype around him. I think they're both good opinions. I mean, are we setting it up for a heartbreaking scene where Daryl just pulls him to the side and says, hey kid, you ain't fucking special. Sorry, I had to do it because Daryl's been doing it, right? So yeah, I figured I'd drop one. Give it up. Give it up for. I mean, I'm in character. You're gonna say you're just some kid. You're some kid that happened to be born at a different time than the rest of us. So I mean, maybe that's what Daryl's gonna tell him and break his heart. So this is what we've already seen from Laurent. We've seen him. He's finding out. Now, if this is if the intent is to show Daryl there's a bigger picture in the world, I think they're doing a good job. If the intent is ultimately to show that Laurent's just a kid and at least he brings faith for people, I think they're doing a good job of that too. Because they're showing what his life is like being lied to, and the underlying theme that we've seen, and Daryl's brought this up at least 3 times, of saying, you need to stop lying to the boy and tell him the truth. So Daryl really believes that. He believes that everything they're doing to him by putting him, they even said tonight, he's like, that's an awful lot to put on a kid. So Daryl does not like the pressure. And thinks that it should be handled differently. And he's very observant when they do treat him differently. Look at all the gifts he's getting. But I got to know, Madame Genet, I got to know why word has traveled so fast that everybody in France know who the hell Daryl is. Here's my question for you guys. All right? And hold on one second. I'm actually going to get you guys some real-time data. Okay? And then I'll ask for one more final score. All right. As far as demographics go, there are at least 31,000 Americans registered as living in France. Why is it that Daryl is the only American in France after the zombie apocalypse? Why did all the Americans die? I mean, they know there's one American. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of throw that little tidbit out there. So he is the American. What, there ain't any other Americans living in France? Wouldn't you think like at least one person would say, you mean Jimmy? Yeah, Jimmy that owns the sub shop, the pizza place right outside of Paris? No, not that American. Todd that owns the sporting goods? No, not that American. Oh, the dude with the crossbow. Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one. Daryl's the only American in all of France. so for all the beautiful entertainment value and Jim Morrison songs and everything else, I'm left tonight to ponder why the leader of La Resistance, Madame Genet, knows who Daryl is, and he's just a dude that got off a boat at this point, left a tape recorder, and only killed a couple people. But the top of the pyramid knows who he is already in just 2 episodes. He's only been there for a couple of weeks, but they know who he is. That's a bad, bad reputation. So, in all seriousness, I'm going to hold with my 8.4. I like where I'm at with that. I don't think I changed a lot of minds. Entertaining. I think we'll get a deeper storyline. Here's the thing that I do. One more wish list, and then I'll ask for one more score. I wished we didn't always see the previews of it's just this real dramatic thing of Daryl, the roof caving in. And next week, it's just like, doesn't have a scratch, like it never happened. So the way they kind of send us on our way is like, oh my God, Daryl fell. Oh, what's going to happen? Oh, I can't wait till next week. Hey, let's go get some coffee. I mean, it's just like he's just magically there. All right. Good stuff, everybody. Hey, I am Kills. I need you guys to do me one more favor. Give me your final score. If I manage to change your mind and make it a little higher, then give me a higher score. If it's the same, give me that. If you lowered it a little bit, it's okay. We're working on a running total, start to finish. We just want kind of like a real assessment of what we do. I am sorry I troubled all of you with the Troy news if you didn't know that. I know it's going to be like, wow, okay, can't wait to see how Troy survived the hammer beat down from Madison. But they just keep bringing them back, so there's always hope. Keep our fingers crossed. Keep our fingers crossed. We might see John Dory again one day. All right, 8.9. You know what? A few people went a little lower, a few people went a little higher as we sort of walk through it. That's why we get together and talk about it. Hey, I want to thank all of you guys for being here, our Walking Dead fans, our 999 fans. Thank you all for everything that we do, from gaming to video game reviews to The Walking Dead. 9 years of streaming, over 4,000 videos of talking about whatever we want to talk about. Trivia, Freestyle Fridays. If you guys like to hang out with us on some other nights, we do our own game on Monday and Wednesday, Play Dead Live. We invented it. We created it. We're finalizing the finishing touches on our own website, our own portal, playdeadlive.com. You'll be able to go in, play some mini games, and there'll be links to streams and some other stuff. We have Trivia Tuesday nights and Thursday nights, either trivia or word search or Wordle. I've heard people want to play Wordle, so that could be coming. Friday nights we do our story and just a whole lot of stuff. Check in. Once the portal is up, there will be a calendar, and then you guys don't have to wait for us to go live. You'll be able to log into the portal and see our calendar of events right then and there. Thank you all for everything that you do. I'm going to give one big super chat shout out to the entire 999 Army. That's each and every one of you. And I'm glad we're doing Daryl Dixon show again, and I can't wait till we're doing Dead City again and the ones. We're the ones who live. You guys have a great night. My name is Kills, and I will see you all during the week for some Play Dead Live or for some more chat about our TV shows. Have a good one, everybody. Peace.